Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Awakening Heart Community of Mindful Living here at Dallas Meditation Center. Today is Sunday, August the 2nd. So welcome to August already. And glad you could join us today. And if you've been joining us for a while, welcome back. And if you're here for the first time and just found us on YouTube, either right now live or some other time you came across this video, welcome to you as well. And I hope you'll check out some of our other offerings and check out our other videos on the YouTube channel. And I hope you will all right now press the like button, the thumb up, and subscribe to our channel too. So today's practice will be our practice of a guided meditation and guided sitting meditation, or you can walk or lie down if you'd like. And then we'll have a talk by Bobby. And so anyway, welcome. And please do check in the chat window, and I'll read those here in a bit. And I'll also mention that following our talk, we will have a session on Zoom where we can discuss and share with each other. And so I hope you'll join for that. And I will put that link as well as the meeting ID in the chat window a little bit later. So let's begin by hearing 3 sounds of the bell, finding that comfortable position. So let's begin with our opening affirmation. If you know it, you can say it along with us. Noble community, we gather here now to honor the way of peace and nonviolence, the way of wisdom and compassion, the way of joy and beauty. In solidarity with one another, with all humanity, and with all life on earth. Friends on the path, we gather here now to deepen our solidity like a mountain and to renew our freshness like a flower. Through mindful sitting and walking, mindful singing and breathing, and mindful speaking and listening. Family of awakening, we gather here now to celebrate the one infinite light that shines through many religions and many cultures, to cultivate the wisdom of our many teachers, both ancestral and contemporary, and to affirm the capacity within ourselves and all persons of every race, gender, orientation, and tradition to realize full and complete enlightenment. So my name is Cornell, and as I said earlier, Bobby will be leading us in a guided meditation and a talk, and Anne is our bellmaster tonight. And several of you have checked in, so I'd like to say hello to each of you. So Catherine bows in. John is here from Oak Cliff. Heather says hi, everyone. John bowing in gratitude. Ellen bowing and hope everyone is well. Karina says hi. Julie Ryan says greetings from her treetop apartment. And Miles says hello. What a great theme for the month. Mindful living goes way beyond sitting on the mat. Yeah, this is the theme this month is actively together. And Catherine is grateful for the community and group practice. Billy says hello. Lisa from the Sangha in Fort Worth says hello, everyone, bowing in from back in Fort Worth. Oh, welcome back to Texas. Bet you missed Colorado. And then Miles is checking in from Illinois and grateful for cooler weather and feeling so much love from family and friends. Neil says hello, and Alex and Angie are grateful to be here. So really glad you're here too. You know, it's been since March, about the second Sunday in March since we've been meeting online instead of in person. And, at first, it really felt, I was worried about, how much I was going to miss community, which I do. I miss meeting in person, but it sure is nice to know that we are still together, even though we aren't in the same room, in the same building. And it makes me happy to read these messages from the people who would have been sitting in the circle and saying hello. And any of you who do check in later and find this video, even though you won't see the live chat, you can always leave comments as well. And we really like to hear that and know where you're coming from. And so why don't we chant the medicine Buddha of healing? And we can really think of it, as healing for ourselves, healing for social injustice, healing for all of the people who may feel minimized, and just healing for the world in general. And many of you know the words, and if you don't, you can find them on our website, and you can even practice along with Brother Chi-Sing, who sang a practice version of this for us to work with. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaishnaja Guru Vaiduriya Prabharashaya Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tadyata Om Vaishnaja Vaishnaja Maha Vaishnaja Rajat Samudgate Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaishnaja Guru Vaiduriya Prabharashaya Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tadyata Om Vaishnaja Maha Vaishnaja Rajat Samudgate Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaishnaja Guru Vaiduriya Prabharashaya Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tadyata Om Vaishnaja Maha Vaishnaja Rajat Samudgate Swaha. Welcome, Barbara. May it all be well with you, too. Nice to hear your other community also practicing online, John. So let's find that stable position, whether we're seated, whether we're lying down, or maybe we're doing the mindful walking outdoors, or maybe in our home. Putting the phone on Do Not Disturb. And just allowing whatever is just to be. Taking a deep breath.
We'll begin our meditation with 3 sounds of the bell, and during the meditation, you'll have an opportunity to practice the guidance that is offered. So let's begin by giving a little attention to our posture. Whether you're sitting, lying down, walking, we want the body to be relatively straight, especially the back and the spine, so that it's easy to breathe. Knowing that the breath is our anchor to the present moment, we want to give our bodies every opportunity to breathe easily. So let's begin with that anchor, with the breath. Breathing in, I'm aware of my inhale. Breathing out, I'm aware of my exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Breathing in, I'm aware that my breath has deepened. Breathing out, I'm aware that my breath has slowed. Breath deeper, breath slower. Deep, slow. Breathing in, I'm aware that my body and mind are calm. Breathing out, I am at ease. Calm, ease. Calm, ease. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I release anxieties, fears, and tension. Smile, release. Smile, release. Breathing in, I dwell happily in the present moment. Breathing out, I know it is a wonderful moment. Present moment, wonderful moment. In, out, deep, slow, calm, ease, smile, release, present moment, wonderful moment. Let's spend the next few minutes in silence, feeling the calm, ease, joy of the present moment. May all beings be happy.
May all beings be free. May all beings be joyful. May all beings be at peace. Brahma Vihara Maitri. Brahma Vihara Karuna. Brahma Vihara Mudita. Brahma Vihara Upeksha.
May all
Beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be joyful. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be at peace. Thank you, Bobby, for leading us in meditation. Thank you all for also joining in meditation. So now, as part of our practice, we take refuge in the three jewels of our practice, which are Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. These are the qualities that are within all of us. Buddha, the quality that of awakening and enlightenment. The Dharma, which are our teachings and the words that we use. And Sangha, the community that comes together. Om Namo Amitabha Buddhaya. We take refuge in the awakening heart of infinite light, that which shows us the way in this life. Om Namo Amitabha Dharmaya. We take refuge in the awakening path of infinite light, the way of understanding and of love. Om Namo Amitabha Sanghaya. We take refuge in the awakening community of infinite light, those who live in harmony and awareness. And so tonight, beginning our series for August on Actively Together, let's welcome Bobby Perkins.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm really happy that you've all decided to visit with us this evening online. Cornell already said, welcome to August. And so we are gathered online for Awakening Heart Sangha in the 5th month, I think it is, of the COVID-19 pandemic. I trust that all of you are well and safe, and I'm so happy that you've decided to spend some time with us this evening. So yes, the theme for this month is actively together. All this year we've been doing things together. We started out joyfully together, and we've been through a lot of different ways to be together. In fact, in the newsletter, the recent newsletter, I said there are probably infinite ways to be active and to be together. And in a sense, we're always acting together with someone, either with ourselves or another person or lots of people. So that's what I want to talk about tonight, is some of the ways that we are actively together. First of all, I want you to remember, if you do remember, a couple of weeks ago, Sister Boy Ning talked about the word together and the fact that togetherness starts within each of us. If I am not at least a little bit together, I can't promote togetherness in anybody else or in any other group. It's a little like metta meditation. We always begin with ourselves when we want to offer love and compassion to other people, knowing that if we don't have that within ourselves, we can't share it. And so together and togetherness is the same in my view. I have to be somewhat together before I can share with anybody else. If I'm scattered in my thoughts or unable to identify a clear intention, then I'm not together, and my actions will show that. So it's impossible to be actively together with anyone else when I am not together within myself, both my physical self and my spiritual self. In fact, the Buddha often said, be an island unto yourself, which I admit I didn't understand for a long time. It seemed like a contradiction to the teaching that there is no separate self. But the more I contemplated it, the more I began to understand that what he wanted us to learn was to rely on our own inner wisdom and not succumb to external advice or suggestions until we may have determined for ourselves that the advice or the suggestion is in harmony with our bodhisattva ideal to be of benefit to everyone. There is a sentence in the first of the 14 mindfulness trainings that says, "We are determined not to be idolatrous about or bound to any doctrine, theory, or ideology, even Buddhist ones." And I think that's what the Buddha had in mind, that what he wanted us to know is that we can trust our inner wisdom, and we need to decide for ourselves if whatever situation we're in, whatever action we're taking, is in harmony with our desire, our aspiration to be of benefit to all beings. The second of the 14 mindfulness trainings continues that admonition. The second training is called Non-Attachment to Views, and it ends with this sentence: "Truth is found in life, and we will observe life within and around us in every moment, ready to learn throughout our lives." So I take this as a reminder that I need to be aware of my internal dialogue, my views and perceptions, so that I don't get stuck in clinging or aversion. So being actively together begins at home within ourselves. We need to get ourselves together before we can venture into the field of being together with others. So let me explain what I mean about getting yourself together, because due to the nature of impermanence, that work is really never finished. If we waited till we thought we were all together, we'd never reach out to other people. So I'm not suggesting that we should go live in a cave until we are all together. I think this is exactly what the Buddha was addressing when he taught the Noble Eightfold Path. He began by talking about right understanding, which is often translated also as right view. Thai's mindfulness trainings speak to the cultivation of right understanding. I know many of you are familiar with 5 mindfulness trainings, and they are just beautiful examples of each of the 8, each of the items on the Dharma wheel of the Eightfold Path. So on the Dharma wheel, right understanding is followed by right intention, which really deserves its own talk. But for the purpose of this talk, let's just say that right intention is another way of expressing the Buddha's instruction to do good, avoid harm, and purify the mind. When our intention is aligned with our bodhisattva ideal to be of benefit to everyone, when we nurture the wholesome seeds in our consciousness, our actions are more likely to be helpful and maybe even skillful. In his book, Nothing to It, Brother Phap Hai says, "I also think it's incredibly challenging to know what right action is in any situation." He admits looking back on a previous situation and thinking, "Oh, maybe I should have done that differently." I bet all of us have had that experience. I remember a time when I was teaching a bunch of very active second graders. They could be quite a handful. I thought about how to make the classroom have a more peaceful energy. So one day I got there before school started, before the bell rang. I went into the room and I, quote, cleansed the energy using Reiki and my good intentions. So the bell rang and the kids came into the room, and they were even more unsettled than usual. It took them most of the day to settle down. I think they finally settled down after lunch when I read to them. So I learned from that experience that what's good for me isn't always good for someone else. Even dealing with other people, doing what I assumed would be helpful to them, often had not good results. So I'm imagining that some of you have had similar experiences. But what situation caused you to think, maybe I could have, should have done that differently? Maybe that's something you can share with us in a little bit. In his book, Brother Pha goes on to say, the best that we can do in any situation, the way to really ensure that we're coming from a place of right action, is to examine our motivation, to come back to ourselves and connect with our motivation of wanting to be of benefit in whatever way that might manifest itself. That's the only thing we can really do. But if we're able to do that, I feel pretty confident that we're engaged in right action, action that is in alignment with our deepest aspiration. So we don't have to be completely all together. In fact, we never would be because of the nature of impermanence. And so Brother Pha is encouraging us to just do the best we can in any situation and to keep our motivation in alignment with our ideal, with our deepest aspiration. I think it's important as we look at our motivation to remember that our deepest aspiration is to be of benefit, to promote well-being. And there's no need to wait until we feel like we're completely together. Thich has said, alone we are vulnerable, but with brothers and sisters to work with, we can support each other. We cannot go to the ocean as a drop of water. We would be evaporated before reaching our destination. But if we become a river, if we go as a sangha, we are sure to arrive at the ocean. Taking refuge in a sangha will allow the sangha to carry us, to transport us, and we will suffer less. I often read before meditation something called a contemplation before meditation. I just want to remind you of a little of it. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but especially the very first stanza says, the Sangha is invited to go back to our breathing so that our collective energy of mindfulness brings us together as an organism, going as a river with no more separation. And then it invites us to breathe as one body, generate peace as one body, and transcend the boundaries of a delusive self, liberating ourselves from all these complexes, the superiority complex, the equality complex, and the inferiority complex. So I think that's a really good reminder of the idea of going together as a Sangha. In this time when we are unable to physically be together, it is more difficult to feel the presence and the support of the Sangha. So it's even more important than ever for us to connect with one another, to reach out to friends and Sangha members, to ensure that the community is stable and thrives even during the pandemic. I have a few suggestions for how to do that. First is call, text, or email someone you haven't seen or talked to in a while. especially Sangha, fellow Sangha members that you haven't seen online with us. Just let them know that you're thinking of them and you miss seeing them online. Another thing you can do is send me a message at info@dallasmeditationcenter.com and let me know how you're doing. Let me know about a birthday, an anniversary, an illness, a death in your family or the family of a Sangha member. I'd love to hear from you and will gladly call you if you leave your phone number. Also really important is keeping the Awakening Heart community of mindful living healthy and vibrant with your generous dana, your donations. Consider becoming a monthly donor if you're not already doing that. It's easy to set up with your bank account or PayPal or Stripe. And all donations, no matter what the size, are deeply appreciated and actually necessary to help us continue through this very challenging time. What other ways can we be actively together? Throughout the month of August, the speakers that will be joining us will explore that topic, and I hope you will be thinking about it as well. So I just want to very quickly sort of summarize, because I covered a lot of territory in a very short period of time. So first, we know that it's unable to have a clear intention when our minds are scattered and when we are distracted by other kinds of situations or living arrangements. These are all huge distractions, not to mention the things that we find to distract ourselves with, like binge watching TV or spending hours on Facebook, or not to say that it's, a bad thing to do, but it certainly is a distraction. So we need to be clear about what is our intention for ourselves so that we are feeling aligned with our inner self, and so that we can take actions that arise from that. It's important to remember that the Buddha taught us not to be too ready to accept whatever somebody tells us, but to investigate, to find out for ourselves if that teaching, whatever it is, that information is in alignment with our deepest aspiration. If it's in alignment with his very short, succinct summary of his teaching, in which he said, do good, avoid harm, and purify the mind. I think if that's all we took away from this talk, it probably would be enough. So it's also important to remember that, as Brother Phop Hai says, we always want to just do the best we can in any situation, probably taking time to think about not only what is the best response, but what is the most skillful response, and maybe no response is the best way to interact. As long as whatever we do is in alignment with our deepest aspiration, we'll be okay. And then at the end, I read about Thai's reminder that we need to go as a river, as a Sangha. We need to stay together, connected with one another, so that we have that refuge, so that we have that support, the support that helps us all thrive, and the support that helps us all begin to come together a little more within ourselves and also as a community. So I look forward to hearing not only any suggestions that you might have about other ways that we can be actively together, and also anything you want to share about thoughts of what I said, anything. I sure do hope that you will come over with us to Zoom so that we can all share together. And we will do that after we have done the closing chant. Countless beings we vow to free, ceaseless afflictions we vow to end, limitless truth doors we vow to open, the deepest paths of awakening we vow to realize. Thank you, dear friends. See you on Zoom.
Thank you all. The link is in the chat window, and remember to grab the ID as well, just in case the link doesn't work for you. And we'll see you in a few minutes.